Today we are looking at Forged Players Distance Irons. Now we all know that Mizuno is up there as the benchmark, the sort of gold standard in this category. If you want to get your hands on a full set of Mizuno MP245 irons from pitching wedge to 4-iron, it is going to cost you. For a full set you're looking at over £1,500, which is obviously a huge price tag to have on a set of irons. So we're going to put those Mizuno irons up against the Wilson Dynapower Forged irons, which come in at around £600 cheaper for that same set. We're going to see if you can still get the same levels of feel and performance from a much cheaper set of golf clubs. So going on to a bit of a first looks and first impressions with these irons, they are clearly very, very different in their design, and I have to say I do much prefer the Mizunos. They've got a really clean premium feel to them, which to be honest, you'd be hoping for with how much you are paying for these irons. Now that's not to say that I don't like the Wilson irons, I just feel as though the Mizunos are that little bit more elevated and have that premium finish to them. The only thing with them being so sleek in their design is that at address, the Mizunos are visibly a lot thinner, a lot smaller. They don't inspire that much confidence that you get with the Wilson being that bit chunkier. So it really comes down to your personal preference if you like to see that thinner iron at address, or if you like the added confidence that you get from playing a slightly thicker iron. As you can see with the Mizuno, it's very subtle. All the detailing is in white, which matches that silver head really nicely to not give too much of an overpowering detail to it. Whereas with the Wilson, you've got a lot of these darker, more bold black details coming in. Definitely do prefer the overall look of the Mizuno just being that little bit cleaner. But I do think the design of the Wilsons is good for those people who want to see a little bit more thickness when they're looking down at the iron at address, just to give them that little bit more confidence. That is definitely something that you are not going to get with the Mizuno irons. Now there's loads of technology packed into these two golf clubs. I'm not going to run you through everything in super detail. If you want to know a little bit more about that, you can go check out the written reviews, but I am just going to take you through some of the key points of the tech in these irons. So starting off with the Wilson, we've seen a lot of AI technology recently in golf clubs. No different here. We've got an AI face with variable face thickness to ensure faster ball speeds across the face. To help out with a little bit more speed, we've got enhanced power hole technology here, which you can see on the base of the club. You've got that in the 4 to 7 iron. Onto the Mizuno, again, loads of technology packed into this golf club, but the main things we're looking at, we've got a similar face with the AI face in the Wilson, with a multi-thickness face configuration, which again just helps to increase ball speeds across the face of the iron. Now these irons are renowned for having exceptional feel, and Mizuno are saying that is down to a micro layer of copper beneath the nickel backing. That's then combined with harmonic impact technology, which provides vibration patterns, which helps to give it a softer feel, similar to what you might expect from a soft muscleback iron. So we're here at Stockport Golf Club. We're going to put these irons head to head, taking them out on some of the par 3s and those approach shots into the green. We're then also going to take them indoors over to hooked so that we can get all the data from foresight to really see how these two irons compare to each other. First up here we have the Wilson. We're going in with a 7 iron with both of these clubs. It's 140 yards, a little bit into wind, so we'll see how we get on. Pretty good for distance, a little bit off to the left, but we'll take that as a start. Next, onto the Mizuno. Very different feel to the two of them. The Mizuno did come in a little bit closer and just had a little bit more of a cleaner strike to it. But let's go and hit a few more. So we're 130 yards out here. It's a little bit wet underfoot, so I'm going to look to fly the ball all the way there, which means this is a perfect distance for a 9 iron. What I'm thinking here is that with these shorter shots, I might be able to tell if there's a little bit more difference in terms of the feel and how much control I have with the Wilson compared to the Mizuno, but we'll soon find out. Let's hit some shots and see. Tell you what, that was not a good strike at all, but it worked out, so I'm quite thankful for the forgiveness in this iron. That just landed so quick. It was a good strike though. Onto the Mizunos now. They're a little bit thinner when you're looking at them at address. They're a little bit more intimidating, but we'll see if we can get these ones closer. Can you see that? To be fair, there's a very big difference in strike there. I noticed that straight away. You get a much more clean, kind of crisp strike going with the Mizuno irons. The Wilson ones are a little bit more clunky, almost slightly hollow, but it's kind of what you expect when you're getting a little bit more forgiveness. Really, really nice feeling strike with these Mizuno irons. So let's take a little bit of a look at the data that we were getting between the Wilson and Mizuno irons. So as always, we tested these indoors at Hooked using Foresight to get the data here. We're going to start by having a look at the 7 irons, comparing the two of those. Now the numbers, to be honest, with the 7 irons were very, very similar. So starting off with the distances, the Mizuno was carrying ever so slightly further, literally just 1 yard further than the Wilson, and the two total distances were the same. So there really wasn't much difference there in terms of the distances with the 7 iron. The ball speeds, we were seeing 1 mile an hour faster with the Mizuno compared to the Wilson. However, the spin rates and the launch angles were pretty much the same throughout, with the Mizuno just having a little bit more spin on the 7 iron than the Wilson. There was, however, a little bit more of a difference with the 5 irons. For example, the Wilson was carrying an average of 162 yards, whereas I was getting up to 167 with the Mizuno. So an extra 5 yards there. And we also saw that extra 5 yards continue on to the total distance as well, with the Mizuno just going that little bit further. Now, one of the reasons for this might be because the ball speed was up again with the Mizuno, this time being 2.5 miles an hour faster on average than the Wilson with the 5 iron. But something to note is that there is a very slight difference in terms of the lofts between these, even though we're comparing the two 7 irons or the two 5 irons. So the lofts for the 5 irons, the Mizuno is 24, whereas the Wilson is 24.5, and the same in the 7 irons, you've got 30 compared to 30.5. So a very slight difference there that might make up for a little bit of the ball speeds or the distances. However, I wouldn't expect half a degree in the loft to be a reason why we were seeing up to 5 yards extra with the Mizuno on its own. So obviously we started this video saying that we're going to put these two irons head to head to see if the Wilson irons that have a much lower price point could be on par with the Mizuno, which is up there as the benchmark for these forged players distance irons. So if we're looking at, can we say that the Wilson iron lived up to the Mizuno in terms of the feel? I wouldn't say that you could put them on the same level as each other. Definitely with the Mizuno, I felt as though if you struck it in the center, you were getting this really nice, clean, very soft strike. Whereas with the Wilson, because there's a bit more of a backing there to the club, it just felt a little bit more hollow and a little bit more clunky. There was definitely a difference there in terms of the feel. However, in terms of performance, I wouldn't say that the Wilson was far behind the Mizuno at all. Obviously, the data showed that we were getting a little bit more distance with some of the shots with the Mizuno, and I did also feel as though out on the course, if I had to choose one that was my favourite in terms of trying to get myself up close to the pin, I would go for the Mizuno. That was the one that we got closest with, and I just felt more confident stood over the ball that I was going to be able to get it close. So can we pick a winner out of the two of them? Well, that comes down to a few different things to take into consideration. The first one is, if you've got unlimited money and you don't mind how much you're spending on your equipment, I would definitely say to go for the Mizunos. With that premium price tag definitely comes a premium feel and performance level to those irons. However, there is a caveat in the sense that for me to be able to hit those irons well and to see that level of performance, you really did have to strike them well. We saw a few shots out on the course where I misstruck it and there wasn't the same level of forgiveness there as we had with the Wilson irons. So if you're confident, you're a better player who can get the strike going and doesn't need that forgiveness, the Mizuno irons are a great option. However, if you want to stand over the ball with a bit of extra help, maybe a bit of extra thickness as well, so that you've got the confidence when hitting those approach shots in, I would say that the Wilson is a much better option. And if you're also happy to compromise a little bit on feel and you don't mind having that slightly more hollow, not quite as soft feel at impact, then the Wilson is definitely the option for you. The final thing I'd just say with this is that it's really interesting that obviously these two irons are in the same category. They're both players' distance irons, they're both forged irons. However, there's still so much variation in terms of the feel, the performance. the sound, how we got on with these irons. So it really just shows the importance of testing out a few different models so that you can find what is going to suit your game best. Thank you guys for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop us a like. And if you want to know more on my thoughts or the technology behind either of these irons, you can check out our full written reviews over on the Golfalot website. Thank you guys for watching and subscribe for more.